When I made breakfast this morning, I suddenly realized that I was almost out of my favorite coffee, and I even had to text my wife and say, hey, can you pick some up on your way home? And that got me thinking, what are some of the other highly consumable items that we have in our homes that we simply forget about or take for granted? Right now, we can all just hop on Amazon and order whatever we need. We can drive to the grocery store and buy whatever we need. And most importantly, we can head to the liquor store and get all that stuff that we need too. But when there's a real situation, an actual supply chain disruption or a hurricane or a tornado, it doesn't take long for those shelves to become empty, and we're going to run out of all of those things that we pretty much take for granted every single day. All of you remember that absolute insanity that happened during those first few weeks and months of COVID. And if you work at a grocery store, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Within a couple of days, there was no bottled water. There was no toilet paper, and the shelves were completely empty. And seriously though, toilet paper? I guess people were just worried about not being able to wipe their precious behinds with that 3-ply Charmin. So I figured this would be a good time to do a video about 10 or so items that we never want to be without, and a couple of items that we can put into our vehicles. Of course, we're going to start at number 10 and work our way up to number 1. And if you already know what number 1 is, you're already pretty much the perfect prepared citizen. Numero 10, trash bags. Trash bags are very overlooked. They are fantastic. These are those heavy-duty contractor bags, and I like these because they can be used as a poncho. You can put a ton of stuff in them. The bottom's not going to rip open. And if you have to dispose of body parts, nothing is better.
You're going away with me, all right? In a garbage bag?
Trash bags are also fantastic for sanitation. We can not only use them for human waste, but we can use them for food waste. And then we can bag those up, double bag them, tie them up, and bury them somewhere, and we don't really have to worry about that stuff leaching out in the near future. And I don't think I can emphasize enough the waterproofing capabilities of trash bags. Again, especially if you have the thick ones, you can literally cut them up into squares and use them to sit on out in the woods so your butt doesn't get wet. They're just a fantastic thing to have. So go online, order yourself a couple of rolls of contractor trash bags. Rope and paracord. Why don't people own more rope and paracord? Every single time I go to Maine, I buy 500 feet of pot warp, which is the rope that holds lobster traps together on the ocean floor. It is an incredibly strong piece of cordage, some float, some sink. It's great stuff. I'll put a link down in the description to Hamilton Marine where you can buy some lobster trap line. It's amazing stuff. Rope is one of those things that we can never have enough of. We can use it for everything from building shelters to, securing things down in the back of our trucks. And hell, you might even have to infiltrate a highly secure area to steal the knock files. And if something does happen, if the shit does really hit the fan, if all you have is 100 or 1,000 feet of paracord, it's literally going to be gone in maybe 2 days. So the more cordage that you can go out and buy, the better. And I'm just telling you right now, you don't have to spend a lot of money on good cordage. And there's so many different cordage options out there to buy. And I want to show you a really good one. This gray line right here that I have on my tree stand sticks. This is called Amsteel. And Amsteel is super, super lightweight, and it is incredibly strong. The tensile strength is insane. And another great thing about Amsteel is it's super high resistance to abrasion. That's why you see it in a lot of equipment setups that tree guys use, just because it's great stuff. Look up Amsteel when this video is over, and if you can't afford it, it's a little pricier, but please buy some. Soap and personal hygiene items. I don't think that we can really, truly underestimate how important things like soap and personal hygiene items are going to be, well, when we can no longer get them. Now, I think bar soap is going to be the #1 best option. I know what you're thinking, well, it holds bacteria. Well, not if you let it dry out. And I like those big, giant bars of soap because we can cut those into little chunks and hand those out to members of our group. And if I can give you the best recommendation for soap, you should probably head over to Amazon or Cabela's or something like that and buy some non-scented soap.
This is the best soap.
Why, thank you, Susan.
It was beautiful. We were selling rich women their own fat asses back to them.
Because if we are stuck out in the wilderness fending for our lives, The last thing we want to do is smell like an Abercrombie and Fitch store to our enemies. Oral hygiene, and I think this is an important one that falls under the umbrella of soap and personal hygiene products. If you've ever had to have a root canal or you ever had a broken tooth, you know how bad it hurts. So we need to take care of our teeth. You can buy multiple packs of toothbrushes on Amazon for very little money, and you can get little tiny things of toothpastes and put one in your go bag or stick one up in a cabinet. Maybe have a couple to give out to neighbors if you lose power or you can't get to the grocery store for a couple weeks. I was going to throw toilet paper and other sanitary items into a different category, but let's just talk about it now. Toilet paper is really nice to have, but you don't actually have to have it. You can buy baby wipes online for very little money. You can get those dude wipes. I really like those because you can actually clean your whole body with them. Just have something other than toilet paper, stocked up in your medicine cabinet in your bathroom. You're going to thank me for it in the long run. Bleach. Bleach is one of those overlooked items that I don't think a lot of people have in their laundry rooms. Bleach is awesome. I mean, we can do a lot of stuff with it. We can sanitize with it. We can clean clothing with it. Having bleach around and maybe the small, not the big gallon jugs, but the smaller ones, something you can grab and go with if you need it. Here's something we need to think about though. Bleach actually does have a shelf life. It's between 6 and 12 months. I've never really tested it, so I can't tell you for sure, but it's always good to remember, maybe every Thanksgiving you buy a bottle of bleach, or on your birthday buy a bottle of bleach. We have cell phones. Put a reminder in your phone every 6 months or so to buy a new bottle of bleach. Take the old stuff and just use it somewhere. Clean your boat with it. Clean your siding with it. Do some laundry. Get rid of that old stuff and rotate that new bleach in. Number 5, folks, we're halfway there. Batteries. Yes, batteries are most important for almost all emergencies. Batteries should probably be closer to 2 or 3, but I put them at number 5 because we all have some batteries somewhere. We just don't have enough of them. All of the things that you see on this rifle, this flashlight right here, this IR laser, this EOTech, they all take a different battery. And this is just one of many rifles with different optics and devices on them. So I actually have to keep a massive box of batteries. I'm sure you've watched many of my other videos and you know that I'm a huge fan of rechargeable batteries. In fact, I have about 300 different rechargeable batteries, but they do have their downside. If you just charge them and put them in the drawer, after about a month or so, they're going to slowly drain down to 75%, 50%, 25%. They won't work. So as much as I hate Jeff Bezos, Amazon is a great company to buy batteries from because you can get them in bulk. AA's, AAA's, D-cell, C-cell batteries, even some of the batteries that I just mentioned for our firearms, those can also be purchased in bulk on Amazon. Here's a Prepared Citizen exclusive tip for you when it comes to buying batteries. Make sure that you buy batteries on what I call the rule of 5. So for instance, if you have a headlamp that takes 3 AAA batteries, you want to have on hand at least 16 AAA batteries. You want to have enough batteries to get through 5 rotations of battery changes on any particular device that you have that requires batteries. And let's remember one thing here, folks. Our ancestors lived for a very long time without electricity, and if we have to, we can also do it too. Propane fuel canisters. I think that these are something that people have forgotten about. Most people actually don't go out camping anymore, so they don't need to have these little bottles for their camp stove. So if you don't own a camp stove, I'm going to give you a link in the description to a really nice camp stove that I recommend. And when you buy that camp stove, head to your local Ace Hardware, or here it's Hemshaw Lumber. Head to one of those places and buy a 4 or 6 pack of those propane bottles. Trust me, when the power goes out and you can't cook, it's going to be really nice to have one of those little camp stoves to fire up a quick meal or boil some water or make your coffee in the morning. Which leads me into these. Strike Anywhere matches. I love these things. They're actually a lot of fun to use. In fact, I light all of our candles and stuff when we have friends over. Ha! Gay! They generally light even when they're a little bit damp, and again, if you lose power, you can light your stove with these pretty effectively. As we get closer to number one, this is a great time for me to stop and ask you if you are enjoying this video and you like the content here on my channel, please hit that subscribe button. Of course, like and please join the community down in the comments. We have a fantastic like-minded community here and I love each and every one of you. If you want to see exclusive behind-the-scenes videos, ad-free videos, and have access to talk to me, head on over to our Patreon account. Link will be down in the description. There's so much cool stuff going on over there, including our monthly product giveaways. All right, here we are at number 3. This is my favorite one, ammunition. You don't own enough ammunition. I always look at ammunition like firewood when you're trying to survive outside. Once you think you have enough, I can guarantee you, you need 10 times more. This little case of ammunition right here holds 1,500 rounds of ammo. It was completely full a week ago, and then I went to the range to do a little bit of training. I was only there for maybe 3 hours, and I shot through about half of the contents of this box. Here's what I recommend for ammunition. You want to have at least 1,000 rounds of ammunition per firearm. So maybe you have a Glock 19, which is 9mm. You want to have 1,000 rounds for that handgun. Maybe you have the dreaded man-killing SIG 320. You want to have 1,000 rounds of ammunition for that. Let's talk about hunting for just a quick second here, and 3 quick things about that. Number 1 is here on The Prepared Citizen, we're actually going to be doing a weekly hunting video specifically for bow hunting once that season comes around. Rifles and shotguns for large game hunting. Well, it's also small game too. So what I recommend is that you go out and buy a shotgun where you can replace the barrel. Maybe you can have a longer barrel for bird hunting, and then you can pull that off and put a rifled barrel on that same device for larger game. For my friends and viewers watching who don't know a lot about different types of ammunition, you have slugs, which are very good for killing large animals. You have buckshot, also very effective, but you don't want to be using buckshot or a slug to shoot a partridge. You want to use birdshot for that. If you want more information on different types of hunting ammunition, let me know down in the comments because we're going to be doing a video about just that. Number 2, food. Now, my go-to shelf-stable food or long-term survival food is this stuff right here by American Reserves. Now, this isn't a product placement whatsoever. This is just a brand that I really go by. And full disclosure, yes, we were having some talks, American Reserves and I, about kind of collaborating together, but I dropped the ball and I really didn't fulfill to them what I said I was going to do, which was make them a taste test video. Yeah, and I kind of feel like a shitbag about it, so we're going to talk about American Reserves. If you haven't heard of this company, let me just tell you something. Their owner, their CEO, whatever, he's just an amazing guy. Their entire team over there is just so nice. And we have tried this food multiple times, and I can tell you something, it is incredibly tasty food. This stuff has a 15-year shelf life, which is amazing. And what I really like about them is that you can stack these on top of each other, and they have an amazing carry handle. They're super lightweight. They are far better than a standard like military MRE, except I do wish that these came with Skittles. I've tried some other long-term survival foods, and I can say with the utmost confidence that this stuff is far easier to use and it tastes way better than most of the other foods out there that you guys are buying. And it's not just the shelf-stable 30-year life food. It also has to do with what's going to get us in between meals, which are snacks, and trail mix bars are fantastic for that. It's an obvious fact that we need food to survive. Some of us could use a little less food, but nevertheless, we need food to survive. So just make sure you have enough food to at least last you 72 hours. And if you have the room for it down in your basement, yeah, maybe get 30 or 40 days worth of food. Because remember, if you have to leave, if you have to, as they say, bug out, you need to be able to carry all of this shit with you. Okay, this is your last chance to guess. What is number 1? And have you already figured it out? That's right, friends. You guessed it. The number 1 thing we need to survive is booze. Just kidding. It's water. Water is the most crucial element that all animals need to survive. Now, my wife, she buys those big, 32 bottle flats of water once a week. And I can tell you that I drink most of those just before the day she goes shopping. On a day like today, where it's 3 billion degrees out, I'm going to be drinking about 6 to 8 bottles of water every single day. The average human being needs about 32 ounces of water to survive every single day. And that's in a moderate temperate type zone where you're not doing a lot of physical activity. So think about it like this. Approximately 1.5 gallons of water will last the average human about 3 days. And don't be using your good drinking water for doing dishes. Use non-potable water, stream water, things like that. It's perfectly acceptable to wash dishes or pots and pans with. Now, my wife says this all the time, and me being the prepared citizen, I should probably look it up. But according to her, there is some thing with plastic water bottles and sunlight. The sunlight goes through the plastic bottle and breaks something down, and that gets into your drinking water and can make you sick. Is my wife right? Let me know in the comments. Before you go, do me a favor and please hit that subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. Check out our Patreon, and remember this: the best time to prepare was yesterday. The second best time is today. That's all I got for you. Okay, one more thing, and it's a question that I wanted to ask you. Do you enjoy these product videos? What products are great? And do you enjoy these top 10 lists? Let me know, because if you actually love these types of videos, I will do more of them. And lastly, we posed a question in the community posts a little while ago about the hunting thing. Maybe some of you didn't see it. So let me know down in the comments if you would like to see a long 2-month hunting series specifically on bow hunting. See you guys next time.